Welcome everyone to a new edition of Yo, it's the Kicks. It's your man AB. I'm back in action. So I got a dope guest lined up for today, Lunden Bernard. So I'm gonna bring him on live very shortly. So right now I'm just going live on Instagram right now. So you could watch it on YouTube live. You could watch it on Instagram live as well. So you could watch it on different avenues right now. So you can also hit me up on Instagram as far as the comments, put it on YouTube live, and I'll try to get to your comments as soon as possible. So excited to be here with you all right now. Let me know what you all been rocking as well. Tell me what you've been feeling as far as with the sneakers and also with the music. It's been a great year in music as well. So I'm excited to end it. Now I'm not going to end the year, but one of the episodes to end it, got my man Lunden Bernard. We're going to talk about sneakers growing up in Portland and also being in the ATL. Then also talk about his songs, his music, Step Into My Zone, and so much more. So let me bring him on live right now. So just give me one moment. So let me bring him on live.
What's good, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing good, Lunden. How about you, man? How's everything going,
Man,
bro?
man, everything is cool, man. Just chilling, man.
Yeah, man, that's good to hear, bro. I want to say thank you, man, for coming on the show today, man. Truly
Yeah.
appreciate you, man. So thank you. I know I actually discovered your music, man, on Instagram. It was Step
Yo,
Into My Zone, man, and
okay.
that's
That's
where
what's up.
that's where I discovered your music on. I was like, oh, like this is I love this, man. Got that nostalgia feel, man, and it's original and creative as well. So a lot of cats is not making that type of sound, man, and resonated with me because you fly as well to go along with that. Had an
Right on.
MCM joint in it, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So yeah, man. So definitely, man, appreciate you coming on the show.
yeah.
Definitely, man. How you been?
Man, I've been good, man. Just out here in the A, man. Working on this project, man. Trying to get it right. You know what I'm saying? So I just been cooling, man, and grinding, man. That's it.
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
that's dope,
man.
man.
Right
I
on,
know
bro.
I just came back from the A not too long ago, man. Went
Okay.
to the Clark homecoming. My
Uh,
wife, she's an alumni of Clark, so
okay.
I went down there, man, to their homecoming, and it was dope. It was dope.
Hey,
So
man,
just
ain't nothing like that CAU homecoming, man. That's
yeah,
hey,
it's
it's next
different.
level, bro. Yeah.
It's different. I agree 100%. It's different, man. Yeah. So I had a dope experience down there. So definitely, man. Let's go ahead and kick it off, man.
Yeah.
So, man, what was some of your influences growing up, man, as far as just in the sneaker culture? Because I know you grew up in Portland, but also
Yeah.
now in Atlanta. So talk about just those two areas, man, when it comes to the sneaker culture and also music as well.
Okay. Growing up, man, I always lived in the past. So everybody was
Hmm.
dressing like the past. I mean, present. I was dressing like the past. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of my fashion influences was like from people from before me. So I would get my uncle's VHS tapes, right? And I would
Yeah.
watch like old Nas videos, Wu Tang videos, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I would go to school dressing like. So everybody was dressing
Yeah.
like the current stuff. I was dressing like in the past. So that's what my fashion influences is. So like, Ghostface, Raekwon, Nas, Slick Rick, and when Kanye dropped, Kanye really impacted me as well because he was like a modern day Grand Poobah,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? And he had the
Yeah.
Louis Vuitton backpack. And so I remember my uncle went on tour. He brought me like a bootleg Louis Vuitton backpack, and everybody was sweating me when I came to school. So yeah, man, those are some of my early fashion influences. In terms of sneakers, man, I would say Ghostface with the Wallies, you know what I'm saying? Well, not really
Hmm.
sneakers, but and then I always loved how Fab used to like rock his Air Force Ones. He
Yeah.
always used to kind of have them fly. And so Fab was always a guy I used to look to for how I rock my ones. So it's been so many dudes that's inspired me, but I say like Slick Rick, Poobah, uh, you know, Ghost Ray, you know what I'm saying? For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, man, I agree with you with that 100%, dog. Because Grand Poobah always mentioned, man. I feel like he's an unsung hero. I feel like he was one of the flyest dudes in hip hop.
Oh, for
Period,
sure.
man. When it comes to the rugby joints,
Hmm.
with him rocking Tommy as well, just everything. It just resonated in his music as well.
Absolutely.
So that's one thing I loved about it, man. Then like Ghostface, he's like a superhero. Then you got Slick Rick, like you mentioned, who was rocking Wally's in the '80s as well,
Absolutely.
and he had that style he brought from London, and
Mhm.
and it was just dope, man. So I agree with them. Though I feel like those artists who could, merge the music in fashion, it resonates perfect. The ones who do it well, it resonates perfectly. So
Absolutely.
I agree with you on that 100%, dog.
Absolutely.
So one thing I want to discuss, man, is your style, like you mentioned, right?
Mhm.
One thing I like about it is original right
Right.
now. And you have a lot of creativity in your style when it comes to the fashion in the music, man. Just talk more about that, when it comes to just making sure you're proud of yourself on, okay, I'm gonna stand out, I'm gonna be different from the next person.
I just think it's all about being original. It's all about being you and being authentic to who you are. For
Hmm.
me, it's no gimmick. This is stuff that I actually love. You know what I mean? And I think that
Yeah.
if you are able to stay true to you and stay authentic, it's gonna come off like that. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I get inspiration from the '80s. I love the '80s. I love the '90s. The thing I love
Hmm.
about the '80s is that the '80s is the most flamboyant era in the hip hop culture. The '90s is where it
Yeah.
kinds to like stray, it kind of flatlines and it's timeless more in the '90s. But the '80s is the
Hmm.
most flamboyant. And the dope thing about the '80s is that not everybody could go get Dapper Dan. Not everybody could go get gold ropes. Not everybody could get
Hmm.
four-finger ring. You know what I mean? Like to dress like the '80s, you really had to have some paper. You know what I mean? And when the
That's
'90s
true.
came, then everybody can kind of be involved. Then you can go get some
Hmm.
Timberlands, or you can go get a jersey, or you can go get a Scully
Yep.
at the swap meet. But the '80s was like flamboyant. You had to have some paper to have some of that stuff. So that's what I love about the '80s, and that's why I'm inspired by the '80s. Yeah,
Yeah, you know what? Like you mentioned, and that's a great segue, right, to the next question is the '80s, because I see that, from your videos and also on the Instagram, like the '80s influence your style so much. And you right about that. When it comes to the '80s, like you had to have some paper, right? When you think about the cats with the paper was in the street. So you had you like, hold
yeah,
on, yo, I gotta get my money up right. And I
right,
feel like when it comes to the originality, like with your style, the '80s helped pave the way for that. You've
right,
seen a lot of the MCM, you've seen a lot of the different brands as well, right? That was really
right,
popping during that time frame. Valleys, you had even the Gucci, like you had
yeah,
all type of different joints that you could really get fly with in the '80s. So
right.
talk about just when it comes to in the '80s, in the '90s. I do feel like I guess I'm biased because I'm like a '90s baby,
Mhm,
but I do feel like those are the best eras when it comes to fashion and also
mhm.
just music, just everything around that. So it's talk about that as well, like just those two worlds with the '80s and '90s, and how that shaped you as well.
Oh, well, the '80s and '90s, definitely shaped me. Shout out to my uncle Versatile, man.
Check out Versatile.
Yeah, he definitely sat me down and played a whole video of like '80s videos, and it just stuck with me. Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, and definitely the '80s was definitely impactful. We have this debate. What era is greater, the '80s and the '90s?
Hmm.
And I say the '90s was probably more timeless. Like the '90s is just like
Hmm.
became the standard for like everything,
Yes.
fashion and everything. But you can't forget about the '80s, man. The '80s
And
was phenomenal and it was dope in its own right. You know what I'm saying? So
hmm.
both very impactful, but I would say the '90s was probably the staple where it's like, it's like set the standard for everything, you know. Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, I would
Did we
say
freeze
with
up?
that
Okay.
it goes up just a little, but we back down. So, but I do agree, it did set the standard. Like the '90s, it really did. It set the standard because now you see a lot of cats, bringing that feeling back when it comes to the '90s. I feel like not only just with the fashion, right, also with the music as well. Like we seen that
Right.
like it's more content based now when it comes to lyricism. We starting to hear that. We see that from the Grammy nominations, for example, right? We see it you
Right.
know, when it comes to the best albums that's been released or the best MCs. So I do feel
Mm-hmm.
like the 90s, it always set the standard. That's so true with everything. It really set the standard. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that
Yeah,
100%.
the 90s is I think the 90s became kind of like the template for
Hmm.
everything to follow. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, it really does. And I will say this, right? When it comes to and what you do this so well, and this what resonated with me, how you merge the two worlds together when it comes
Mhm.
to music and fashion. And I was talking, I always mention this. Shout out to the homie Rome Streets. And I
Mhm.
asked him this. He was like, you know, the artist that he resonated with was the artist that was fly. He said
Yeah.
he couldn't listen to the artist that wasn't fly. It didn't, you know, it didn't resonate with him. So talk about merging that because you do that so well in your music and also
Yeah.
just as your brand overall.
Yeah. I think fashion and music is inseparable. You know what I mean? It's like
Hmm.
they're two sides of the coin. You got to have both. You know,
Yeah.
you can have the dopest music, but if your image is not intact, you know, there might be a disconnect with the audience. So image is
Correct.
very important as an artist. You know what I mean? And I feel
Hmm.
like, let's say Andre, you know, he's a different side of the coin. You know, his image is different, but it's impactful. You know what I mean? And you got the other side of the coin, Fabulous. His
Yeah.
image is impactful, it's effective. So I think you got to just have
Love it.
a strong image, and you know, that resonates. You know, if you just coming out looking regular, you can have the greatest music, but you may not resonate with the audience because the image was not
Agreed.
right. You know, so
I agree with that 100%. And I'm starting to see more of that like come back in the game right now when it
right,
comes to just your image and brand.
yeah.
And I always, you know, say West Side Gun do a great
Oh
job
man,
with that, with building his image as the fly guy. Like that's what you
yeah.
that's what he loves. He loves fashion. And
Hmm.
you know, that's one of his main cornerstones. And you see it in his merch, you see it, which is the whole brand overall with Griselda. But you see so many cats doing that right now when it comes to like, you know, resonate with that. I remember Dom Kennedy was doing it when he first came
Right,
out. Currency, another one as well, you know,
right.
during that blog era. So
Hmm.
I do see that. And it's dope. It's dope seeing that aspect as well because,
Yeah,
you know, that's what a lot of artists was doing in the 90s. And they wasn't even trying to do it, but they was doing it when they was name dropping different brands in their music, rocking different
exactly.
brands as well. So I agree with that. You have to build that particular brand and image so it can resonate with the everyday listener, right? It can
Right.
resonate with the everyday listener. So I agree with that 100%, dog. I
Yeah.
really do. Yeah. So when it comes to rapping, when it comes to you getting into music, what made you want to get into it? What made you was like, you know what, I'm gonna jump off the front porch and go, you know, and start rapping and start doing the music.
Man, growing up in Portland, man, my uncle was like a legend in the town, man, and I always looked up to him. And he sat me down one day and just showed me all these old rap videos. He showed me, you know, Rakim, Move the Crowd, Big Daddy Kane, Raw, De La Soul,
Raw.
Potholes in My Lawn. He showed me all the classic rap videos from the like. I was there for a long time. He showed me all the classic rap videos, and that day I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, man, I know you're young, but you got to know this stuff. You know, this is the
It's
classic. If you want
dope.
to be in the music, this is the stuff you need to know. And that made me want to do it. I was like, okay, this is what I want to do it. For a long time, I was scared to share my raps, you know, so I would write raps in silent, you know, in private, but I was too scared. But eventually, you know, I got the nerve to say it in front of him and stuff like that. But yeah, my uncle really inspired me, you know, and from that day, you know, I wanted to rap, you know.
That's dope, man. And shout out to Versatile as
Yeah,
well. I mean, his name is self-explanatory. It
man,
really
come
is. He's
on,
versatile, man, and he fly as well,
man,
man.
legend.
So I love that, right? Because you don't really hear that aspect, London, like when it comes to cats knowing their history before they get into it,
Right,
right? Gotta know who the people who came in the past, you know, before them who helped pave the way.
exactly.
So that gives you a whole like different perspective and knowledge of the game as well. With listen to these cats, but watching the videos and studying their cadence, you
Absolutely,
know, the pockets, everything. So
absolutely.
I love that aspect. That's really dope. That's kind of what made me really just love the culture overall, right? When it
Yeah.
comes to just hip hop and rap. Like the first video I seen was the Mystery of Chess Boxing by
Mm,
Wu Tang. I was young. I was probably about 4 years old, but I remember that video vividly.
yeah.
Then the second video I remember was "The World Is Yours" by
Oh
Nas,
man, yeah,
and those two videos just shaped me. I was like, "This is the most amazing stuff ever." You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So it was just dope. So I love hearing that perspective, and also just having versatile in your corner,
yeah,
someone who is well known, a legend as well. And is there any pressure? Because if I'm not mistaken, he's executive producing your album as well,
yeah,
right? I
yeah.
know you mentioned that. So do you feel like there's any pressure with that, London? Like, just to kind of recapture, that sound and just, living up to those expectations.
Yeah, yeah, like yeah, because he's a legend, man. So you always want to,
Yeah.
rise. You always want to, rise to the occasion. You know what I'm saying? But me and him got a good relationship. You know what I'm saying? And if
Mhm.
I spit something whack, he'd be like, "Nah, that ain't it." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's good to have
That's
somebody
dope. That's
there that
dope.
has an ear, and they a legend
Hmm.
that can give you honest feedback. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's definitely good to have that there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, you're right. That feedback is
Yeah,
everything. And I want to discuss, you being on Stat Selector show,
yeah,
on the radio show last year,
mhm,
man. On the Shade 4-5,
yeah.
huge platforms, Cadillac Chronicles as
Yeah,
well.
big up the grind.
So
Yeah,
speak about that, man. Just being on those platforms, man. Those are huge
yeah,
platforms that you own, man. So how was that, man? How did that happen? When you got the call,
yeah.
being on those platforms.
Man, it was crazy because Brian is my boy, you know what I'm saying? And I was on some of the first few episodes when he first started
Yeah.
doing it. And to see what it's become, it's like, oh my God. It's like, man, I'm proud of that dude, man. I remember,
Hmm.
us shooting the first few episodes, you know what I'm saying? So to see what it's turned into is like phenomenal. In terms of Static Selector, man, shout out to my man JFK, part of the show off crew. Me and
And
him,
you mentioned that in the freestyle
yeah,
too,
JFK,
JLK. You
yeah,
mentioned that,
JFK.
yeah, JLK. Yep.
He's down with the whole show off crew with Static Select and
Hmm.
terminology. And he the one that referred me and got me on the show and showed me love, you know what I'm saying? And we got a song together too. And Static Selected was cool and terminology was cool. And it was just surreal being in the room with all these dudes because I'm
Yeah.
fans of them. So it was definitely an honor and a
Yep.
privilege and definitely a great moment for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, that was dope, man. It was really dope seeing that. Man. And also on the
Yeah, right
status
on.
show, you had the Nike joint on the Nike sweater, which
Yeah,
was
for
crazy,
sure.
by the way.
For
Look
sure.
at
For sure.
that joint. You had that joint. Oh, it was crazy, man.
Right
So,
on, man.
that's really dope, man. Because Static, I will shout out the terminology. It's
Oh
well
yeah.
termed, man. It's the homie. And one thing I will say, man, they champion cast it. They see talent, they gonna
Right.
champion and help out any type of way, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
really appreciate those casts out there,
Yeah.
man.
Big ups to Static. Yeah, he's one of the curators and
Yeah,
gatekeepers and so dope, man. A legend.
yeah.
So yeah, big ups to Static,
Hmm.
man.
Yeah, man, that's dope, man. I want to discuss the track, man. Step into my zone,
Yeah,
man, which is crazy, man.
right
Like when
on,
I
man.
first heard that, I was like, damn, like this giving me, I hate to compare other artists to each other,
Yeah.
but when I heard it, it gave me that feeling of Gangstar.
Okay.
It gave me the feeling of Gangstar, it gave me the feeling of Primo, Guru.
Okay.
Just, what I love about it, it was dope. You know what I'm saying? But you always drop gems. Like it's dope, stylish, but you always drop some gems in your lyrics as well.
Right
So
on,
that's
what
what I love about it as well.
Right
That's why it
on,
gave me
bro.
like that Gangstar feel.
Yeah, yeah.
So discuss that, man, in the video, because the video was shot dope, man. And that's a big part of it as well. That made me even like the song even more when I in the video.
Right
So
on.
so discuss that track, how it came about behind it.
Yeah, man. I wanted just to make a dirty hip hop joint. You know what I'm saying? Just dirty, raw,
Mhm.
just hip hop joint. With the same feel of like a Mass Appeal or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Dope
Yeah.
lyrics, dope beats, just scratching, just something that the DJs can play 12-inch. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
that was my goal for that record. In the terms of the video, I kind of wanted to do, like pay homage to the 80s and the 90s. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
the first verse I got on the Dapper Dan, second verse I got on the Jersey. So just kind of paying homage to the two eras that really inspired me. And that's pretty much it, man. I wanted to make a classic hip hop joint that, eventually, it'll become a classic. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
my goal for that, and just spit some dope lyrics, and that was it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that
yeah,
because stuff like that be missing at times. It does.
yeah.
Like, and I feel like with that type of feeling, it's so dope and so much needed as well right now.
Right,
So I love that, man. And that song is dope, man. It's really
man. Right
dope.
on,
So
man. Right on.
uh so when it comes to in this current climate right now, we see, right, when it comes to hip hop right now, like how do you
Mhm.
feel about the current status in hip hop and also in the sneaker and fashion world right now? How do you feel about it?
In terms of the fashion world, I think that one thing I do like, let me start with the positive. I do like
Mhm.
that everything is subjective now. Like there was a time where stuff
Yes.
would go out of style, where now you see people wearing skinny jeans, baggy jeans, people are just wearing whatever they want to
Yep.
wear. And I like that because it's giving people freedom just to do them. The thing I don't like about fashion in terms of our culture is the ageism. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the ageism
True.
in fashion, because if somebody is
Hmm.
40 and up, we automatically say, oh, they can't dress a particular way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate when people say, why is the OGs dressing like YNs? Well, the question should be, why is the YNs dressing like the OGs? You know what I'm saying? Because the
Good
OGs
point. That's a
started
good point.
Timberlands, the OGs started Air Force Ones, they started wearing Jordans, they started wearing fitteds. That's they fashion. How are we going to tell them that they can't wear
Hmm.
the clothes that they grew up wearing? You know what I'm saying? So I don't like that. People try to go at Jim Jones and Fabulous, and I'm like, man, these cats been wearing that since they was teenagers. How you going to tell them they can't dress
Yeah.
how they dress? You know what I'm saying? So I think our culture is the only culture that puts an age limit on particular things, whether it be music or fashion, and I don't like that. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Because I'm gonna
Yeah.
be 70 years old wearing Timbs, and I don't care what nobody say. You know what I'm saying? So
I
I like
agree.
that.
I
But I
agree.
do like the fact that there's more freedom now in terms of fashion.
Yes, I agree with that 100% because, like you mentioned, Londo cast that grew up in that era, that's what they were dressing
Right,
as. Like that just being real. Like I'm always gonna have some forces on
right,
or have some fly kicks on with some fly garments, some fly stuff, right? I'm always going to happen.
exactly.
So I'm not going to change that, especially if you love that. If that
Right.
what you rock make you feel good, keep rocking it. I do see that, and I see that especially when cats was coming at Jim Jones and Fowlers, who are people who are pillars.
They,
They
yeah,
are pillars of
the
the
culture.
culture when it comes to fashion. Like you could
Absolutely.
love them, hate them, but they help influence all type of different trends that
Right.
we see now, right? So the rock star look, the chrome hearts. I
Exactly.
seen Jones one of the first ones doing that.
Exactly.
Fab. Fab had cats going crazy with the throwback era.
Throwback, man.
Cats don't
Fab
know
was
like
fly.
how
Yeah, man.
for fly. And them throwbacks was 300 a pop
Mitchell and
back
Ness.
then, damn near, or even more.
Man.
So
Right.
and so I agree with that too when it comes to the age part, right? And
Right.
also I see it in hip hop. I see it in hip hop, London. Like I was gonna go live. I'm actually am gonna go live this week and just discuss the Primo and Nas album
Hmm.
and just talk about that aspect because I feel like when it comes to like a certain age,
Hmm.
people are like, oh, you can't make those certain sounds.
Right.
Yes, you can. You can make those certain sounds.
Exactly.
When I think about Primo, he's pure hip hop, like pure hip hop. So,
Exactly.
those sounds, that's what you grew up on. You're not going to stray away from that. So, I agree with that. I do feel like we are the only culture that look at it in a way and also come off as disrespectful. It's like if you don't
Hmm.
rock with what someone doing, you don't gotta be disrespectful, especially to legends, like to
Right.
legends. So,
Exactly. Exactly, man.
and yeah, bro. And I think it makes people feel some type of way, or not even that. They might not even dress how they want to dress. You feel me? Like, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? So I know with me, if
Yeah.
I wear a suit, I gotta wear some sneakers with it because a lot of the dress shoes is
Right.
uncomfortable for me.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, man.
it's yeah, I agree with that 100%, London. That's a good call out, dog.
Yeah.
And when it comes to, I want to say, man, when it comes to fashion right now, London, right?
Hmm.
And you mentioned the age part,
Hmm.
and I heard stuff, about streetwear. People, saying streetwear is not what it is right now, or
Right.
I do see a lot of vintage fashion coming back now. I'm seeing
Mhm.
more stores or more avenues with that. And that's something that really appealing to me because growing
Mhm.
up in the 90s and being influenced by the 80s, wearing
Right.
a lot of vintage stuff, that's what it was for me, man. And
Right.
still doing it now as I'm able to get, got the means to get it now as I got older.
Right.
How do you feel about just that intersection? Because I am seeing more people, London, getting
Mhm.
more into vintage fashion right now. So how do you feel
Yeah.
about it? Do you feel about it like, do you feel like we should gatekeep that sometimes or just be like, you know
Yeah,
what,
I think
let it
that
rock?
the past always comes back, man. The past always comes
Yeah.
back. Like I'm seeing cats wearing academic velours again. I'm seeing cats wearing Sean
Yeah.
Don
That's
velours again,
crazy.
rocket
That's
wear.
crazy.
So the past always comes back, man. I think after there comes a time where something's played out and then it becomes trendy again. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Yeah.
so I think that that's just fashion. That's the cycle of fashion. I think that once it kind of comes back, then it kind of stays. It's like, all right, we kind of
Yes.
went through our played out phase. Now we here to stay. And that if you're wearing it, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, it's intentional. It's not I'm wearing it because I'm outdated. So I just think that's what it is.
Yes.
Like like let's say this hat. There was a time where this hat was probably played out after the
Mm-hmm.
mid 90s. But now when you see
Mm-hmm.
cats wearing it, it's intentional. They wearing it because
Yep.
this is an era and they making a statement or I'm making a
Yep.
statement when I'm wearing that. So I think that's fashion, man. Everything is
Yeah.
when it always comes back around.
You're right. It does. It always comes back around. I love that part. It
Yeah.
always comes back around. And I feel like when it does come back around, you'll start seeing more people catch on to that as well, right? And you have people start doing their own history on it.
Right.
So
Like
that's what I do like about it.
I went and got my Averex jacket from my mom's house. You know what I'm saying? Like I went and I got to put that in the cleaner because I'm like, okay, Averex is we on Averex again. So yeah, I think everything is
Everett.
cyclical, man. Yeah.
And I will say this, London. I want to get your point of view on this as well. Your opinion. Like I will say, it's more accessible now.
Hmm.
That's what's so dope about it,
Hmm.
right? Like it's so many different avenues and places where you could get it at versus in the early 2000s or even the 2010s
Yep.
you couldn't really get it, right?
Nah.
You couldn't really get it, but it's so many other avenues where you could get the vintage gear and stuff of that
Hmm.
nature now, man. So I think social media, I will say social media helped with that.
Yeah.
I will say that, right? So talk about that, man.
Mhm.
Just when it comes to getting the gear, getting stuff that you want to get more accessible.
Well, yeah, like before social media, before the internet, man, you had to go to New York and get certain stuff, or you had to go
Yeah, that's
to
true.
LA to get certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? Being from Portland, my mom always took trips. We always took trips, and that was the goal. Like, man, we gonna go to New
Yeah,
York, or we gonna go to this place, so I can get something you can't get in Portland. But now it's just
yeah,
the internet is open to everybody. You know what I'm saying? So
that's
it's
true.
a gift and a curse because now it's like, everybody can fact check where you got this from or that from.
Yeah,
So, and then plus you got Instagram, you got wholesalers online. So,
that's
I
true.
mean, you can get anything now. eBay, it is what it is. There's no such
Yeah.
thing as exclusivity no more. You know,
No, it's not. It's
nah,
not. It's not. And
internet
do
goes
you
back.
feel? Do you feel like because it's not, a lot of that exclusiveness, that mystery is
Mhm.
kind of went away? Do you feel like it kind of I wouldn't say took down or made it less than what it is when it comes to fashion? Because I feel like if you go to New York, they had their own. Florida or Texas, they have
Right.
their LA, they had their own style, but
Mhm.
now it's like everyone kind of like not everyone, but some people. London.
Yo, can you hear
Oh
me?
yeah, yeah, I
Okay.
can hear you.
Okay. Okay.
Do you feel like social media kind of played a part with people not being, I will say, not so original now? Because
Yeah.
remember, you could go to New York. New York had
Mhm.
their own style.
Yeah.
Chicago had their own style. Texas.
Right.
Do you feel like social media kind of took that away because everyone is kind of dressing the same right now?
Yeah, I definitely think social media took that away.
Hmm.
you know, we don't got no identity no more because now everybody's influenced by everybody. You go on your timeline and everybody's influenced by everybody, you know. And
Hmm.
so there is no more individuality no more. It's just because social media, you know, it's kind of killed that. It's killed the mystique, you know. It's you know, so
Yeah.
yeah, I
Hmm.
definitely feel like that. You know, the internet, social
Yeah.
media, it just makes it accessible for everybody, you know. So, you know, everybody can rap, everybody can
Yeah.
sing,
Agree.
everybody can upload their album, you know. It's just like if you want to, you want the latest fashion, you can get it, you know. It's just like there's no more exclusivity, no more. It's just
Yeah.
like it's just
Yeah.
what it is. So yeah.
I agree with that. I agree with that as well, Lennon, because I remember once upon a time when it comes to cats getting fly, getting fresh, when it comes
Hmm.
to sneakers and just the whole fashion culture, cats was looked at kind of different, like, oh, you really into that like that?
Right,
Then fast forward, those same people who was kind of looking, down on it is now getting into it when it comes
right,
to that aspect. I mean, I get it all the time. Cats be asking me questions and stuff like that,
right.
like, hey man, where can I get this, get that? So
Yeah,
I definitely agree with you as well. Kind of took the mystique away from it,
right.
I will say, when it comes to that part. I agree with that 100%. In London, like, I just want to talk about, before we do close it out, right?
Hmm.
The upcoming album, man, because I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to it, man.
right on,
And
man.
if you want to discuss that,
Yeah.
you know, what can the people expect from it, man? Because every track that I heard from you been really dope, man. As far
Right
as your
on.
verses, the songs you did with your Unversatile. So talk about just how the upcoming album is, man. What can we expect?
Man, it's on the way, man. It's currently being mixed by the legendary Vitamin D, man, out of Seattle.
Okay.
And yeah, we just getting some things together, man. But it's on the way. I think it's a classic, man. It's just raw, dirty hip hop. You know what I mean? Dope lyrics, dope
Hmm.
beats. You know what I'm saying? And I think people is gonna really dig it. It got something for everybody on there. You know, if you like that classic
Hmm.
raw, dirty hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Sound like it coming off the SP 1200 or MPC
Yes.
6. You know, this is it. So y'all gonna really dig it. You know, we independent, you know, we ain't got no million
Hmm.
dollar budget or we ain't got no
Yep.
celebrity cosign or nothing like that. But I think that once it gets out there, you know, the people who like it, whether it be 100 people or 10,000 people, they gonna really dig it. So yeah,
And shout out to Vitamin D as well in the whole Seattle, Jake One, those
legend, bro.
cats. Seattle got really a dope scene. Yeah, they got a dope scene out there. So shout out to Vitamin D for sure.
Vitamin, man,
So
that dude is he's that dude is the GOAT, man. That dude, he's
yeah,
dope MC, the greatest producer of all time. That dude is
yeah,
he's the GOAT.
yeah, dope, very dope. So yeah, and when it comes to your brand, one thing I love about your brand, London, like, you do a great job marketing it on Instagram. Like,
Right
you do a
on,
really great job with that. And one thing I love, like, you don't drop just projects or songs back to back to back. Like,
right.
you would take your time and promote that one song, and I think,
Yeah.
that's what we see from the clips. They took their
Hmm.
time, right, and
Yeah.
promoted. They just didn't stop. They just didn't make one post, right, and that's why it garnered that interest of so many people.
Right.
And that's what I love from your music,
Yeah.
and from with your brand. So talk about that as well, because we don't really see that a lot. Now we're starting to
Yeah.
see more of that lately, but we don't see that a lot
Well,
from a lot of artists.
the thing is that you're fighting the algorithm. You know what I mean? And so you
Yeah.
could drop a song and they only gonna push it to 100 people. You know what I'm saying? And I drop
Hmm.
Step Into My Zone. I put that out a couple of times on Instagram, and people is just
Hmm.
now, oh man, this is dope. When this come out? I was like, it's been out a year.
Yep.
And so people drop songs and that's it. You know, they go on to the next song. But there's so many people that haven't heard that song. So it's like, man,
That's true.
I don't care, man. I'll push an album, I'll push a song for a whole year because
Yeah.
every time you push it, somebody new is going to discover it or recognize it.
Hmm.
And it's not like when you're a major artist like Drake or Kendrick Lamar, they don't have to keep doing that because as soon as they do it, the whole world is going to see it because of who they are, their
Yep.
popularity, they got the machine behind them. But when you're an independent artist, man, you got to keep putting them songs in people's face. Don't just drop it one time. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Yeah, keep putting it out. You know, because the algorithm, you know, you fighting the algorithm, and you know they only
Yep.
gonna push it so far. So you gotta promote yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I love that. You're right. Like that's so
Yeah.
true. And like last year, so that
Right.
fashion brand or one sneaker. Yeah, we back right now. Sorry
Okay.
about that, London. We back
That's
right now.
cool.
If you had to pick one sneaker that best represents your music style, what would it be? If it was
Oh
one
man,
sneaker.
one sneaker. Hmm. I'm gonna say, shoot, the the I know it's basic, but the white Air Force Ones. You know what I'm saying?
That's not basic. Rest in
Basic.
peace to
I feel
DJ
like,
Clark Kent.
yeah, the white Air
Who's
Force
the
Ones.
air? Ooh,
It's
yo,
timeless. It goes with
timeless.
everything, and it never plays out. And that's where I want to be. I don't
Yeah.
want to be the timeless thing, the staple thing that never plays out. You know, all the other colors is gonna come and go, but that white Air Force One is the staple, is the fixture. So that's what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be the
I
fixture.
love
You
I love that. I love that pick, London, because that sneaker goes with everything, right? It really does everything, man. And I so I wasn't a big Air Force One fan growing up, right?
know?
Born in Michigan, but raised in D.C. So I
Okay.
wasn't like the kid everything. I love dunks.
Right.
2020, I started buying forces nonstop, and that's like most of my sneakers right now is forces, and I love forces. I always have respect for forces because it's a legendary sneaker. So now
Right.
I've been buying my son forces as
Right.
well. I've been buying my son forces. He's 1 year old, but
Okay.
he got like a collection
And
of forces already, man. So that sneaker is probably
that's
one
what's
to be real. It's probably my favorite sneaker. Been like right now, like currently right
okay.
now, like those and the Nike Air Trainer ones. I'm a huge Jordan fan, right? Obviously, but the Air Force One is a classic sneaker. You could wear it with anything, like
And
anything, man, anything, dog. So that's why I love,
yeah.
the forces, man. You could wear it if you get dressy, get casual. If you wear some exquisite, exotic type of brands, you know what I'm saying? You could
Mhm.
definitely wear that sneaker. It's the perfect sneaker to go with anything. So, in that white Air
Cool.
Force One, made out the box,
Yeah, man.
I mean, hey, you can't go wrong with that,
Can't
man. You
go
can't go
wrong with it,
wrong with
bro.
that. Can't go wrong with it, man. I just want to say, London, thank you, man, for
And
coming on the
thank you,
platform.
man.
Appreciate
Thank
you,
you for having me,
dog.
man. It's been an honor, bro. For
Yeah,
real. Respect
yeah,
you, bro.
man. Like, man, likewise, man. For real, excited, man, for the upcoming album, dog.
Indeed.
Definitely when it drops, man, you could definitely come back on the
Oh,
platform
for sure.
anytime, dog. We'll chop it up and
Hey,
discuss the album in depth, man. For
indeed.
real. So,
Indeed. I'm gonna be
man,
back,
yeah,
man.
man.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Yeah,
All
appreciate
right,
that,
bro.
man. And also thanks to everyone who tuned in to Yo It's the Kicks. We sign off.